Before the sun rises, your mind battles invisible enemies. But today we choose victory. Good morning, everyone. Every day, unseen forces try to whisper doubt, fear, and deception into our minds. These aren't just external challenges. They are deceptive spirits that aim to distort our perception, cloud our judgment, and steal our joy before the day even begins. But what if I told you that every morning presents a chance to stand firm, to rise above these spirits, and claim clarity, peace, and purpose? Today, I want to talk about how to start your day standing against every deceptive spirit, and I will share 3 key ways to do it that can transform your life. Deception often begins quietly. It rarely announces itself with fanfare or warning. It doesn't arrive in glaring colors or with loud alarms. Instead, it creeps into your mind subtly, almost imperceptibly, shaping your thoughts and influencing your emotions without your conscious awareness. It might show up as a fleeting negative thought about your abilities, a whisper that suggests you aren't good enough, that you're not ready, or that you might fail. It could emerge as a lingering doubt about your purpose, a quiet questioning of why you're doing what you're doing, or whether it truly matters. Sometimes it appears as fear about the future, an anxiety that the day ahead will overwhelm you or that circumstances will spiral out of your control. The insidious nature of deception is that it disguises itself as logic, as caution, as reason. But in truth, it is a spirit that seeks to divert you, weaken your resolve, and undermine your potential. The first step in standing against deception is awareness. Awareness doesn't mean judgment, and it doesn't mean panic. Awareness is a deliberate act of noticing, of observing the thoughts that rise in your mind, and discerning which of them are constructive and which are harmful distortions. Without awareness, deception has free rein. It can twist your perception, magnify fears, and create false narratives that seem real simply because your mind accepts them without question. But the moment you pause and become conscious of what is happening inside you, you reclaim power over your thoughts. You step out of the automatic, unconscious cycle where deception quietly controls your emotions and actions. Imagine this scenario. You wake up in the morning, and the first email you see is from your workplace. The message is short, factual, neutral, but your mind immediately interprets it as criticism. Suddenly, you feel anxious, your heart rate rises, and a cloud of distraction settles over you. You replay every action you took yesterday, questioning whether it was good enough. You feel a surge of anger, maybe even resentment, though you don't yet understand why. That is a deceptive spirit in action. It doesn't need to attack you directly. It simply nudges your perception, twists a neutral reality into a source of stress, and plants seeds of doubt and fear. In that moment, your day begins not with clarity and purpose, but with a fog of unnecessary anxiety. This isn't just a hypothetical example. A study conducted by the University of California found that over 60% of workplace stress is linked not to actual threats, but to misinterpreted communication. People are reacting to imagined criticism, assumed failure, and misread intentions. Our minds, when left unchecked, are prone to exaggerate, distort, and misrepresent reality. The deceptive spirit feeds on this tendency, subtly pushing us toward unnecessary worry, misplaced guilt, or irrational fear. But the power of awareness is that it allows you to interrupt this process. You become the observer of your mind, not the victim of its unchallenged thoughts. You can pause, recognize the deception, and decide how to respond rather than reacting reflexively to every thought that surfaces. Starting your day intentionally is critical in this fight. Instead of diving headfirst into emails, news, or social media, take a deliberate pause. Sit quietly, close your eyes if you can, and bring your attention inward. Notice the first thoughts that come into your mind. Are they supportive, inspiring, and constructive? Or are they fear-based, critical, or self-doubting? Acknowledge these thoughts without judgment. Give them a name. This is doubt. This is fear. This is worry. Naming them is a powerful way to separate yourself from them. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness observing them. And this distinction is what strips deceptive spirits of their influence over you. Real-life examples of this practice abound. High-performing individuals across fields, athletes, business leaders and artists alike, often speak about the importance of mental clarity first thing in the morning. Olympic athletes, for instance, don't just train their bodies. They train their minds to recognize and dismiss self-doubt. They know that the first thoughts of the day can set the tone for performance, confidence, and focus. By identifying and confronting deceptive thoughts early, they prevent fear and doubt from dictating their actions. You too can adopt this approach in everyday life. The power doesn't lie in avoiding difficult circumstances. It lies in the ability to discern what is real, what is imagined, and what is being subtly distorted by your mind. To make this practical, dedicate 2 to 3 minutes every morning to identify any negative or fear-driven thoughts. Write them down. Seeing them on paper makes them tangible and less overwhelming. Then question them. Ask yourself, is this thought based on fact? Or is it a whisper meant to deceive me? Is it helping me, or is it leading me astray? You will find that many thoughts that initially felt monumental, threatening, or urgent are actually minor, irrational, or entirely unfounded. By separating truth from distortion in the quiet moments of the morning, you prevent deceptive spirits from hijacking your energy, your mood, and your focus for the rest of the day. This practice also creates a habit of mental vigilance. Over time, you become more adept at noticing subtle lies your mind may try to sell you. You learn to catch yourself when fear masquerades as logic or when doubt disguises itself as humility. The earlier you recognize these deceptive influences, the less power they hold. Like a small crack in a dam, if you address it early, you prevent a flood of unnecessary stress, indecision, and regret. Awareness in the morning is your preemptive strike, your shield, your first line of defense against the forces that seek to mislead you. Moreover, awareness fosters compassion for yourself. Often, we are harsh critics of our own thoughts, reacting to deception with guilt, frustration, or self-blame. But when you approach your mind with awareness, curiosity, and patience, you create space for understanding rather than punishment. You acknowledge, I am human. My mind can mislead me, but I am capable of seeing clearly. This mindset strengthens resilience. It allows you to face challenges not with anxiety, but with clarity, confidence, and calm. It transforms the internal landscape from a battlefield dominated by unseen enemies into a controlled environment where you can think, plan, and act with purpose. Deception is inevitable, but its power over you is optional. Every morning presents an opportunity to reclaim authority over your mind, to separate truth from falsehood, to confront fear before it grows. By dedicating time to recognize deception early, you establish a foundation of clarity that affects every choice, every interaction, and every emotion throughout your day. The simple act of pausing, reflecting, and questioning your thoughts is not just a defensive strategy. It is an act of empowerment, a declaration that you will not allow unseen spirits to dictate your life. Awareness is the spark that lights the flame of intentional living, and with it, you begin every day standing strong, clear, and in control of your own mind. Once you have learned to recognize deception, the next crucial step is to arm yourself with truth. Recognition without action is like seeing a storm approaching but remaining outside without shelter. Awareness is essential, but awareness alone is not enough to protect your mind and your spirit. To stand strong against deceptive influences, you must consciously choose what you will embrace as reality, and you must do so before the lies of fear, doubt, and negativity take root in your thoughts. Truth is the most powerful weapon you have in this battle. It is your armor, your shield, and your guiding compass. Every day, countless people wake up and immediately fall into the trap of self-deception without even realizing it. The moment their feet touch the floor, the mind begins to whisper discouraging thoughts. I'm not enough. I'll fail today. I don't have what it takes. These thoughts feel real, urgent, and undeniable, but they are not reality. They are deceptive spirits attempting to steal your confidence and dictate your actions before you even step into the world. The problem is not just that these thoughts exist. It is that, unchecked, they can snowball. A small whisper of doubt in the morning can become hours of anxiety, a lack of focus at work, or hesitation in pursuing meaningful goals. But the moment you choose to counter these deceptive whispers with truth, you change the trajectory of your entire day. Truth, however, is not always dramatic. It does not arrive with thunder or lightning. Most often, it is quiet, steady, and persistent. It is a reminder of what you know to be real, of what you have already overcome, of the abilities and resilience that reside within you. The person who wakes up thinking I am not enough can confront that thought with truth. I have faced challenges before. I have succeeded, learned, and grown. I am capable and prepared to face today. The mind cannot hold a lie and truth at the same time without one overpowering the other. By consciously embracing truth, first thing in the morning, you inoculate your mind against deception, confusion, and fear. Consider the world of elite athletes. Success in sports is not just about physical strength or endurance, it is about mental discipline. Michael Phelps, one of the greatest swimmers in history, has spoken candidly about his pre-race routines. He does not only train his body to swim faster or endure pain, he trains his mind to reject doubt. He recites affirmations, visualizes success, and mentally rehearses his races. Before he ever dives into the pool, he has already confronted fear and self-doubt, replacing them with focus, confidence, and clarity. This mental preparation is not an extra, it is essential. Without it, even the most talented athletes can falter under the weight of fear. What Phelps demonstrates is universal. Anyone, in any field of life, can use truth as a mental armor to shield against deceptive spirits. Truth can take many forms, depending on what resonates with you personally. For some, it may be a spiritual or religious faith that reminds them of a higher purpose and their inherent worth. For others, it may be scientific evidence or personal achievements that prove capability and resilience. Affirmations are particularly powerful because they speak directly to the subconscious mind. When you say aloud, I am capable, I am prepared, or I can overcome today, you begin to reprogram your mind. Thoughts that once carried fear and deception start to lose their grip. Over time, this practice creates a mental pattern of resilience, focus, and confidence that carries through your actions, interactions, and decisions throughout the day. Truth does more than just counter lies. It reshapes perception. When you view challenges through the lens of truth, obstacles become opportunities. A difficult conversation at work is no longer a threat but a chance to demonstrate clarity and skill. A personal setback becomes a lesson in perseverance rather than a confirmation of inadequacy. By arming yourself with truth, each morning, you do more than defend against deception. You actively build a mindset that interprets life accurately, fairly, and with optimism. This is not just theoretical. Research in psychology consistently shows that positive self-talk, affirmations, and focusing on evidence-based truths can improve performance, reduce stress, and increase resilience. A 2015 study, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found that individuals who practiced daily affirmations were better able to handle stress, more confident in their abilities, and more likely to persist in challenging tasks. This demonstrates that truth is not merely a philosophical concept, it is a practical tool backed by science that strengthens the mind against deception. Starting your day with truth is also about intention. You are setting the tone for your thoughts, emotions, and actions, before the external world has a chance to influence you. The morning is a vulnerable period. Your mind is fresh, impressionable, and easily swayed. If you allow fear, doubt, or negativity to dominate these first moments, they often spill into the rest of the day. But if you consciously embrace truth first, through affirmations, readings, reflections, or statements of purpose, you establish a strong mental foundation. When challenges arise, when others doubt you, or when circumstances seem overwhelming, you are already armed. You are prepared to see the situation clearly, respond effectively, and maintain control over your mind and emotions. Even simple practices can have profound effects. Speaking aloud 1 or 2 affirmations in the quiet of the morning may feel small, almost trivial at first, but the repeated act of claiming truth empowers your subconscious mind, reinforces confidence, and gradually rewires habitual thinking patterns. Over time, you begin to notice a shift. Fear and doubt no longer dominate. You approach tasks with focus, clarity, and courage. The deceptive spirits that once seemed so powerful lose their influence, and your potential begins to expand. What makes this practice truly transformative is its universality. You do not need special circumstances, extraordinary resources, or years of training to arm yourself with truth. All it requires is a deliberate choice, a commitment to recognize the power of truth over deception. Every morning, you can pause, acknowledge any negative or self-doubting thoughts, and replace them with truths that resonate with your personal experience, values, and aspirations. This simple, intentional act becomes a habit that not only shields you from deception, but also builds resilience, focus, and confidence in every area of life. The key is consistency and mindfulness. It is not enough to declare a statement of truth once and forget it. It must become a conscious, deliberate, and repeated practice. The more consistently you affirm what is real, strong, and true about yourself, the less space deception has to operate. Over time, you create a mind that naturally prioritizes truth, clarity, and confidence, one that interprets events accurately and responds effectively, rather than reacting impulsively to fear or doubt. This is the power of truth. It is both a shield and a compass, protecting you while guiding you toward the life you are capable of living. Arming yourself with truth is an act of courage. It requires self-reflection, honesty, and the willingness to confront thoughts that have held you back. It is a choice to stand firm against the deceptive spirits that attempt to define your reality before you have a chance to shape it yourself. When you take this step, each morning, you are not only protecting your mind, you are taking control of your destiny. You are declaring that your actions, your confidence, and your perception will be guided by reality, strength, and clarity, not by lies, fear, or doubt. Truth is powerful because it is undeniable. You can deny deception by holding fast to what is real, tangible, and proven. Every morning, by choosing truth over fear, affirming your worth, and reinforcing your capabilities, you arm yourself against the invisible forces that seek to mislead you. This practice does not just improve a day, it transforms a mindset, a life, and ultimately, a legacy. Finally, standing against deception is not just a matter of mental recognition or affirmations, it is ultimately actionable. Awareness and truth are foundational, but without deliberate, grounded action, the forces of doubt and fear will always find a way back into your life. Action transforms intention into reality. It aligns your heart and mind with the truths you have embraced and ensures that the deceptive spirits that attempt to sway you remain powerless. When you act, you are no longer a passive observer of your thoughts or circumstances. You become a participant in shaping your destiny. Action is the bridge between recognizing who you are meant to be and actually becoming that person. Without it, even the clearest insights and the most empowering truths remain dormant, unexpressed, and ultimately ineffective. Consider for a moment the way our minds often work. You might wake up with clarity, having recognized fear or deception, and armed yourself with truth. reciting affirmations that reinforce your courage and potential. You feel ready, focused, and empowered. But if you remain idle, hesitating, procrastinating, or waiting for the perfect moment, the deceptive spirit regains its foothold. It creeps back into your thoughts as subtle, doubt, as hesitation, as second-guessing your capabilities. The mind thrives on inactivity. Inaction allows fear to fester. But when you take grounded action, no matter how small, you demonstrate to yourself and to the world that truth is stronger than deception. Action is a declaration. I will not be swayed by lies. I will move forward in light, strength, and purpose. Every act of progress, no matter how seemingly insignificant, weakens the influence of deception. Action is not limited to grand gestures or monumental achievements. It is found in the small, deliberate steps that move you toward your goals. Sending an important email you've been postponing, making a phone call that you feared, exercising to strengthen your body and mind, or even simply planning your day with clarity. All these actions are victories over fear and doubt. Each step demonstrates that you are actively engaging with reality, not passively allowing deceptive thoughts to dictate your life. Momentum is born from action. The more you move, the more confident, capable, and resilient you become, and the less power fear has to control you. Entrepreneurs exemplify this principle in some of the most high-pressure situations imaginable. They wake up each morning with uncertainty looming over them. Will this business idea succeed? Will their efforts produce results, or will failure strike? Many people would succumb to fear, hesitation, and self-doubt. But successful entrepreneurs understand that action transforms fear into progress. Elon Musk, for example, has spoken repeatedly about fear being a signal rather than a stop sign. Fear tells you where your energy is needed, where the work must be focused. Musk describes it as an indication to concentrate on creating solutions rather than being paralyzed by worry. By taking action, he converts potential panic into tangible results, moving forward step by step toward a vision, regardless of the uncertainty that surrounds him. This principle applies universally. Action is the antidote to deception. Grounded action is not random, it is intentional and aligned with truth. Acting without alignment is merely activity, and activity without direction can even strengthen fear, frustration, or doubt. But when your actions are guided by the truths you have embraced and the awareness you have cultivated, they become expressions of integrity, courage, and purpose. Each step you take becomes a visible affirmation of your commitment to live in reality, rather than in the distortions of fear. The body begins to reinforce the mind. Momentum, confidence, and clarity grow. Action proves that your thoughts and beliefs are not idle. They are real, effective, and transformative. The power of taking action is also deeply psychological. Neuroscience shows that human beings are wired for movement and accomplishment. When we act toward a goal, the brain releases neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin, which reinforce feelings of accomplishment, satisfaction, and motivation. Even small steps trigger these chemicals, creating a feedback loop that strengthens resilience and confidence. In contrast, inaction allows the mind to ruminate, creating anxiety, doubt, and indecision. This is why the simple act of moving forward, even incrementally, is so potent. It rewires the brain, strengthens resolve, and diminishes the influence of deceptive thoughts that would otherwise dominate your inner narrative. Grounded action is also about courage. It is about moving forward despite fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. Fear is a natural response to the unknown, but action transforms fear from an immobilizing force into a guiding signal. The person who hesitates in the face of fear allows deception to thrive, while the person who acts demonstrates mastery over mind and circumstance. Courage does not mean the absence of fear, it means taking deliberate steps in spite of it. Each act of courage diminishes the power of fear and increases your capacity to handle future challenges with confidence. Action also reinforces identity and self-worth. Each step you take confirms that you are capable, resilient, and commit. To your life's purpose. Deceptive spirits attempt to undermine self-esteem by suggesting that you are incapable, unworthy, or helpless. Action directly contradicts these lies. By showing yourself through tangible deeds that you can navigate challenges, solve problems, and move forward, you cultivate an unshakable sense of capability. This is why so many high achievers, from athletes to entrepreneurs to artists, emphasize the importance of daily routines and proactive steps. The repetition of intentional action builds character, reinforces truth, and keeps deception powerless. The practice of taking grounded action is also transformative because it creates visible results. When you act, you produce outcomes that can be observed, measured, and celebrated. These results serve as proof that truth and effort have tangible effects. A project completed, an exercise session finished, a conversation conducted with integrity, all are victories over the deceptive forces that would seek to immobilize you. Results reinforce the mind's belief in truth, creating a cycle of confidence, empowerment, and resilience. Inaction, by contrast, provides no feedback, no reinforcement, and no proof of capability. This is why action is indispensable. It turns internal preparation into external achievement. Each morning, then, becomes an opportunity for deliberate, intentional action. Identify one tangible step that moves you toward your goals. It might be sending that email, making that call, exercising, meditating, or even writing down a plan for the day. No action is too small if it is deliberate and aligned with truth. Momentum builds incrementally, step by step, day by day. You reinforce your capacity to act with clarity, courage, and purpose. In doing so, you starve deception of the space it needs to manipulate your thoughts, weaken your resolve, or steal your confidence. Action is not merely a task to complete. It is an expression of your commitment to your own life. It signals to yourself and to the world that you refuse to be passive, that you refuse to let fear or doubt dictate your course, and that you are capable of navigating challenges with strength and intention. Standing against deceptive spirits is not passive, it is active. It is living in alignment with truth, integrity, and purpose through deliberate, consistent, and intentional steps. By taking action, you transform potential energy into kinetic energy, potential fear into tangible progress, and uncertain intentions into visible accomplishments. Ultimately, grounded action is the culmination of recognition and truth. You recognize deception, arm yourself with truth, and then embody that truth through action. It is the step that converts internal preparation into external transformation. The act of doing reinforces the mind's clarity, strengthens courage, and demonstrates to the world, and to yourself, that you are not controlled by fear, doubt, or deception. Through deliberate, purposeful action, you claim your life as your own, and ensure that deception never gains the upper hand.